here. I am one of the lead faculty for the Jerry PT version of the Institute of Clinical Excellence, and welcome to the PT on Ice Daily Show. So today, what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is floor transfers. So when Dustin and I are doing the online and the live versions of the modern management of the older adult, one of the biggest things we talk about is around falls prevention, transferring on and off the floor, and the fear that some of our older clients can have when they haven't been on and off the ground in over 10 years, which is not, we think that that's a long time, but that's something that's very common for some of my clients, especially as they get into their 70s and 80s, and musculoskeletal aches and pains and different chronic conditions creep up and become more of a burden on their life. And so we as clinicians, you're gonna see my dog Bailey come in and out of this frame because she wants to be in the video too. We as clinicians, it's a great skill for us to start teaching our clients to get on and off the floor. Dustin has done some podcasts on teaching people how to fall, but I'm gonna go on the other side of this and teach people how to get up after they have fallen. And so I'm in a gym setting, so I'm very fortunate that I have a bunch of equipment here. If you're a home health PT, most of the time we're getting our clients on their bed, if possible, to start working on floor mobility drills. So different ways and different settings will have different equipment. If you have a high-low bed, sometimes that's a really great way too of being able to be a little bit more versatile with how you are getting a person on and off the floor. And then as we transfer into more outpatient orthopedics and into the gym setting, this is when we're getting into like the illustrious burpee. So we're gonna talk about different ways that we can start transitioning people on and off the floor. So for a client of mine who's coming in, who's fairly low functioning, is very, very fearful about getting onto and off the floor, one of the first things that I'll do is just scooting on and off the bench. And with that, we have, these are ab mats, but you can use different materials to give you a little bit of a boost or a bolster. So what I'll get people to do, the very first, is just to bring their knee so that they're starting to scoot their weight over to the front of the bench or the plinth or the bed or whatever equipment you're using, and transfer weight. The nice thing about this is that the two ab mats have given me a little bit of a riser, and so my hip is pretty much at the level of the bench anyway. And so because of that, it's really easy for my client to just shift. Because there's a lot of the fear too, right? Because what happens if I get into this, oh shit, I'm off the bench and I can't get back. So the next thing I get people to do if they feel okay with this is a little bit of a turn. Because we know that we kind of want to get everyone into quarter kneeling if possible. For some people who have a joint replacement or have arthritis that is present at the knee, being on your knees and kneeling can be really painful and uncomfortable. But sometimes when we're doing floor transfers, that's just necessary. We need to. So the next step I'll do is this kind of quarter turn. And this places me in line, same thing from a height perspective. I'm really close to the side of the bench, so then I can just transfer. This allows me to use my client to use a lot of their upper extremity, so that if they don't have the same reserve or strength in their legs that they may need, then we'll be able to progress them with less use of their upper extremity, for example. But they also have a little bit more confidence. Once they're here, I start taking the ab mats away. The nice thing about using these too is that they're nice and spongy. They're relatively inexpensive. And so even for my clients who have some pain with kneeling, that tends to be pretty well tolerated. So we try and get them here. So eventually, we want them to be able to get into this quarter kneeling or a lunge type of position. The next fairly scary thing is being able to get your knee back behind you or your knee forward. This is where sometimes having these mats can be a help or a hindrance because a toe can get stuck. So sometimes if my client is having a lot of trouble, especially if they're relatively frail or deconditioned, I will get them to lean over on one side because it kind of clears up the hip, and then it's going to come forward into this quarter kneeling position. They can use their thigh to get through and come forward this way. And then we're kind of working on this quarter kneel position. From here, you can get them kind of lying down on their stomach. Being 32 weeks pregnant, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate this overly well, so I'm going to get my husband to come in now. So Nick's going to come in for this part. So if he's here, he's going to be on his stomach. Now he's going to need a certain amount. My other pup's going to come in. Never a dull moment at Stay Bob, I swear. He's going to be able to have to push a certain amount through his upper extremity in order to get his knees back. So that, nope, you're just going to transfer your weight that way. No. You're going to push through your hands and just get up, yeah, and then go onto your knees. Yeah, we're going to teach him on the fly how to get up on the floor. So from here, now he's in this quarter kneeling position. He can place his hand on the bench, bring his knee up, yeah, and then you can kind of scoop. From here, we can start getting him to transfer from standing to sitting. So he's going to stay on the edge of the bench. You're going to do like a modified burpee. Stand at the edge here on the side. So for some of my clients who have progressed a certain amount and are in some of our group exercise programs, this is what I call the burpee. So what Nick's going to do is he's going to bring his arms or hands down so that they're on the mat. Then he's going to walk out so that his belly comes onto the floor. So walk your hands out. Good. And then he's going to push up. And he's going to bring his weight back into his toes. Then he's going to scoot his butt up. Yep. And you can either walk your feet in like that or walk your hands in. And he's going to stand. Perfect. So this is kind of a modified burpee. What I can get my clients to do too is they will always have a bench here so that they're able to progress or use this as they get tired. Go again. So he's down on his knees, comes down to his stomach, presses out from there, moves his hands close to here. Yep, hands on the bench. And then if he's having trouble with that, then he can kind of use his hands to get up. So ways that we can modify so that people can still do this type of movement in a group-based setting, but also feel like they have this as a extra help. Because we know that when some people have fallen and they can't get up, if they can at least reach a chair or a table, something that they can anchor into with their upper extremity, then it can help a lot. So last thing that we're going to talk about is what happens if we know that it's really important we have a recurrent faller, here, come in here, Steve, and we're not really sure if they're going to be able to get up. You're going to put this on first. So this is what Dustin and I call the oh shit moment. So what we will do is we will use gait belts. So I'm going to put this across his front. I will put this across his bottom, like hip area. And tighten it up. And then he's going to go onto the ground. And we're in this moment where we're like, oh no, he can't get up. What am I going to do? Now, I'm going to use my deadlifting skills. Get him to place his hands underneath, and I'm going to say on the count of 3, we're going to get up together, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, up. He helped me a lot, but this allows me to have a little bit more leverage, and I'm essentially just helping and deadlifting the person up off the floor, and then we can kind of scoot and try and get to a surface that will allow them to get up. All right, guys, that's my floor transfers 101. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to place them in the comment boxes below. We just started our next cohort of the online modern management of the older adult course. We are finishing May 12th, which is very close to my due date, so we're going to see if I make it. But we have our next cohort starting June 9th. So if you're having a serious case of FOMO around not getting onto the online cohort, the 9th cohort is up on the PT on Ice website and you can sign up there. Bye guys.